What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today what I'm going to do is show you how to use Serum to make insanely hard-hitting trap beats just like this one. Alright, let's get into it. So I'm going to start off with the melody, and then what I'm going to do is just start off with a basic pluck or bell sound. So I'm going to go in here, and let's do a sine wave. Something that I noticed that a lot of producers like Metro Boomin and Southside do is they have detuned bells. So I'm going to set an LFO to control the pitch of the bells here. So I'm just going to use LFO 1. And then this is the pitch knob. We'll go into the matrix here. Make sure that this arrow is only pointing right. You just want to make sure that the polarity is going in one direction. I always set it to the right just so that it's easier to control the LFO's effect on the actual pitch. I should have mentioned the BPM before I started with the melody. Trap BPMs are usually in between 120 to 180, so I'm just going to stick in between that number there with 155. Okay, so you can hear that the LFO is repeating. So what I'm going to do is set it to envelope so that the LFO's duration is only as long as the note. Okay, so you heard it went up and it came back down instead of what it was doing before. So now we just want something subtle. Okay, I like that. And then I want to layer it with something else. So I'm actually going to do something different with the phase. So the first sine wave here, let's go to the oscillators. The first sine wave here starts going negative and then goes positive. With this one, they have the triangle wave going positive and then negative here. So I'm going to kind of like stick to what this is already doing. And I think that contrast is going to allow certain harmonics to overlap without cancellation and masking happening. And what I want to do is flip the polarity. So flip vertical. Perfect. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is use the brush tool, which I think is freaking genius. When you're using the brush tool and you want there to be like a smooth waveform, when you go, you want to go to the grid and then turn it all the way up to 64. And then now I'm basically just going to start here, paint that, and then let's actually make the end like a square wave type thing. And then you can smooth it out by clicking on this dotted thing, and then you just retrace it, and it smooths it out for you. All right, let's give that a listen. Way cooler. Let's give it some texture. So this is like a noise thing. It just adds harmonics. So I'm just going to do some light harmonics here. And then if you just drag down, it'll make them smaller. I'm going to drag down a little bit more. Good. Let's see what that sounds like. Cool. I'm going to make it a little bit more like a sine wave by hitting this first bin right here. Cool. Okay. I'm going to drag this LFO here as well. Make sure that the polarity is going to the right direction there. That's so sick. So right now it sounds like really thin. So let's thicken this thing up a little bit. Let's check out some default shapes within the analog and see what I like. Juno. I like it. So what I'm gonna do is make this whole sample actually half the length here and then paint this in there. So let's go to process. Okay, perfect. So now what I'm gonna do is for this sample, I'm going to kind of just like copy that formation. I'm going to draw it in. So where are we at? Okay. Let's draw it in. Not perfect, but close enough. Smooth it out. Oh yeah, one thing that you need to remember is that you need to turn down the randomness, or else every time that your note plays, it's not going to be consistent. So if you go to randomness, turn that randomness down to 0. And now it sounds the same. That's awesome. So I'm going to mess with the envelope. This is like the envelope that all 3 of these are going to have to follow. I'm going to come up with a chord progression. That melody is so nasty. Alright, I heard the arpeggiator is like absolutely nasty in Serum, so I'm just going to mess with it and see what happens. How crazy is this plugin? Alright. Effects. Chorus, absolutely. Okay, so what I'm going to do is render that out. Okay, so that's going to be like the intro. And then now this is going to be like when the beat drops. Let's render that out as well. Perfect. So I'm just creating layers. Now I just want to vary the sound up a little bit. Let's change that sound. We're going to render that as well. This is going to be insane. Melody 3, let's hear what that sounds like. I almost got it to my liking. There we go. This is going to be such a long video, but it's gas. All right, I think that's perfect. All right, we're going to make some 808s, dude. Let's get it. I love making 808s. All right, we're going to start off with a basic shape, which is a sine wave. And then we're just going to pitch that down. All right, let's go up one, actually. All right, now we have to give that a transient. So this is how you make a transient for an 808 or for a kick, right? You're going to make an LFO, bring that up into pitch modulation, and then you're going to do the same thing that we did before. You can hear the pitch bend, but we want that to be faster. Sounds good. Turn the randomness down. And then let's turn the release up a little bit. All right, I'm going to render that out. And this is going to be really cool because you guys will get to see how I sound design my 808s. We got, first of all, get rid of that loop, normalize. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is EQ it. Take out all of the dirt from the very bottom. Okay, let's add some distortion. Adding distortion just adds those harmonics to your 808. It makes it sound way louder, way punchier. I like using either the warm tape or the tube. So let's go warm tube here. You hear the difference? I mean, it's night and day. Okay. Let's run it back, turn the Pro Q3 off. Let's give that a little bit of a boost without clipping it. Sorry to whoever's ears I just blew out. My bad. Let's add a little bit more distortion to it. Let's add some more distortion. Let's add one little finishing touch. We'll go R bass. And just see if I can boost some frequencies. That sounds really good. Let's layer. That sounds crazy. Let's do a slight boost. Let's render that out. I want to add a little bit more saturation. I'm very particular about my 808s. That's the last of my coffee, bro. That's tragic. Okay, so let's check this out here. This is like elementary, bro. If you're not boxing out your envelope, you're making a mistake. Regions, pitch regions. You want to make sure that you're pitching your 808 so that you know what key you're in. Detect pitch regions. It says that I'm in. I can't even read that, bro. What does that say? Is that E? G. Can you guys see that? Right? G2. Right? So I'm going to go in here. Go to G. Okay. Oh my God. That 808 is ridiculous. Let's drag in a kick. Let's see which one matches with the 808. That's got a lot of like higher octave transients. Let's see how that sounds. Just want to make sure there's no time stretch on there. Let's speed that up a little bit. Just in case. Like traumatized, dude. All right. And then kick. Oh my God. I got so lucky with that first selection. We just got to make that louder. Alright, same thing with the hi-hat pattern. Let's get the hi-hats going. I think I made the south side hi-hat in Serum, actually. Let's drop that in there. It's so nasty already. might try something different. And I'm pretty sure you can drag in a sample to use for granular synthesis. All right, let's see how this works. And then for the final product, I really just took that bell pattern melody that I made with the granular synth. I rendered it out, made it unique, and then I pitched it. So this is what it sounds like. And then let me play the bridge section, this 16 bars here, and then I'll explain what I did for the bridge melody. And then it repeats those other 8 bars. So basically, I just recycled these 2 melody patterns that I made earlier on in the video. I reversed them and then I layered them on top of each other, and it sounded really good. I thought it was a good way to kind of like reset the energy, give the beat a break, and then allow me to build back up for these last 24 bars. So that's the video for the beat, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making this content. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. You guys do not want to miss out when I'm dropping these production gems. Until next time, peace.